वर्सेस सुन्नी इत्तेहाद काउंसिल।
पूछो वहां से कनेक्ट हो गया, शुरू कर दिया ना? ठीक है,
थैंक यू जी।
बटन दबा रहे हैं।
माय लॉर्ड,
अभी तो नहीं, ठीक है, वैसे बता रहे हैं
जी। My Lord, may I briefly just preface the case, what this review petition is about, and then proceed in somewhat detail about it. The undisputed position is that SIC, which is a respondent over here, the Sunni Ittihad Council claimed that post the general elections, a number...
दोनों माइक्स जो है ना इकट्ठे कर दो।
दोनों इकट्ठे कर लीजिए, इट विल बी इजी फॉर यू टू।
ठीक है जी। My Lord, is it any better?
Yes.
My Lord, the admitted facts or undisputed facts are that post the general elections, the Sunni Ittihad Council claimed that a number of returned candidates has joined it. The claim before the Election Commission of Pakistan, before the Peshawar High Court, Honorable Peshawar High Court, under Article 199 of the Constitution, and before this Honorable Court, under Article 185(3) of the Constitution, was by Sunni Ittihad Council and its chairman. Neither these returned candidates nor PTI was a party before any of the forums, including this Honorable Court. The 13-member bench unanimously, on this there is no dispute, dismissed the petition of SIC, the Sunni Ittihad Council, and its chairman. Another application was filed by Ms. Kamal Shahzab, and she wanted to be joined. Again, even the majority said that she is not a necessary party, and no relief was granted to her. So all those who were the petitioners who came to the court were denied the relief. And those who were not petitioners before the court were granted relief, and some of those who were not even respondents before the court were affected by the majority judgment of this Honorable Court. My Lord, in the second category are the duly...
What is the fate of Kamal Shahzab application, sorry?
My Lord, even the majority says that she is not a necessary party.
What was her prayer in application?
My Lord, her prayer was that, I'll just read out to your Lordship
That is important.
from the application. It is there. This is, my Lord, CMA 3554 of 2026. CMA 3554 of 2024.
And in what capacity she filed this application as?
My Lord, if your Lordship sees the first page, I want to be absolutely accurate about it.
And she was not before the Peshawar High Court.
She says, no. She says that the petitioner is a political, paragraph 2, the petitioner is a political activist and former parliamentarian as well as President Women Wing of Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf, which is the largest political party in Pakistan. And if your Lordship may see the prayer clause to this application, if your Lordship wants to look in Ladyship, paragraph 3 of the petition as well, where she points out,
I believe that her claim was that
pages 25 and 26, prayer begins at 25. It is therefore most respectfully prayed that this Honorable Court may be pleased to grant leave to appeal to the petitioner against the impugned judgment dated 14th of March 2024. And the majority judgment holds, my Lord, that she is not a necessary party. My Lord,
में शायद इनका क्लेम ये था कि इन्होंने नॉमिनेशन पेपर जमा किए थे रिजर्व सीट पे फ्रॉम पीटीआई
yes,
और सब्सिक्वेंटली शी वांटेड, उन्होंने कहा कि मुझे SIC की रिजर्व सीट में परमिशन दी जाए शायद
SIC वाले भी कंसिडर करें, चले वो देख लेंगे।
Yes, Alfred.
But the
This
submission,
application was dismissed.
this application, it was said that she is not a necessary party, tantamounts to dismissal.
All judges have dismissed.
The word dismissal was not used in the majority judgment. The word she is not a necessary party is used in the majority
But
judgment.
it was held by the 8 judges or the all judges?
My lord, 8 judges and none of the other granted this application either. There is no grant of application by the other judges. Your lordship will see that page 190, paragraph 118 of the majority judgment takes that position.
Para 1-1.
Para 118, in volume 1, tab 1, the reported judgment I have filed.
Can you read few lines?
Yes, my lord. Paragraph 118, page 190.
ये reported judgment जो है इसका
Reported judgment, yeah?
paragraph 118.
Paragraph 118.
ये tab A में है. It is tab A.
Tab, अच्छा.
Tab 1. Tab 1, volume 1.
Page बताइए जरा.
Page 190, para 118.
पढ़ दीजिए.
So far as the application CMA 3554 of Ms. Kamal Shahzab, who claims to be a PTI candidate for the reserved seat, my lord, it then talks about that. If your lordship will see the last 4 lines, we may clarify that although we heard her counsel in the interest of justice, as important questions of interpretation of constitutional provisions were involved, she is not a necessary party to the case.
She has not filed any review.
She has not filed a review. My lord, the chairman, Sunni Ittihad Council has not filed a review. The Sunni Ittihad Council has not filed a review. The second part was that as a result of what happened, the Election Commission of Pakistan had issued notifications declaring a number of candidates to have been elected on the reserved seats. Rightly or wrongly, that's another matter, that's for the review petition, but that's a fact. That notification was quashed in spite of the fact that all of those persons were not parties to the before this honorable court. Our respectful submission is, this is there in the short order, which is page 191, paragraph 3. The notification dated 13th of May 2024 was declared to be ultra vires.
Those persons who were elected or selected through reserved seats, whether any of them have filed review application?
Some of them are before your lordships.
Not all.
Not all, but some of them are. This is CRP 1272 of 2024.
CRP number
1272 of 2024.
what is their interest in that?
My lord, because their notifications have been quashed. My lord, and the submission is that it may be a question whether a writ of quo warranto could be issued in the case of returned candidates, but even if it could be, these were Article 199 proceedings.
And you are representing them.
My lord, I am.
How many persons have filed this?
Three persons have filed it. And some of the, not all, but some of the returned candidates for the purpose of completeness, I may point out, were parties in the original civil appeals, and they are before your lordships as respondents. They have not filed review petitions, but they are supporting these review petitions. My lord, and
What is the number of that?
my lord, the main review petitions, they are party to them because they are party to these review petitions because they had to be made a party. And the numbers have been given to the reader of this honorable court. The numbers, if your lordship wants the number of the civil review petition, the first one is 312 of 2024, and they are respondents number 15 to 18. And they are supporting the petitioner, my lord. If your lordship looks at that, even if this honorable court had the power to issue a writ of quo warranto, that writ can be issued under Article 199 of the Constitution.
Sir, you were to complete that earlier, your arguments. You were telling us something about the facts, short facts of
These are the facts of the case, your ladyship, that all those who were the appellants before this honorable court, to them, both of them, the relief was denied unanimously. Insofar as
how this Sunni Ittihad claimed the seats and in what capacity?
they claimed the seat on account of the basis that, and that has been determined in the judgment, and that is not being questioned over here. They claimed the seats on account of the on the basis of their contention that post the general elections, a number of these candidates who were quote unquote independent candidates had joined the party within 3 days, and they were entitled to those seats. The majority as well as minority
Sunni
judge.
Ittihad, they contested election on their political back.
No, they did not. No, they did not. That is the finding in the
They themselves were, he or they were independent. Won
these
the
were
election in the independent capacity.
these candidates were independent candidates. After the general election, they joined the Sunni Ittihad Council. The Sunni Ittihad,
तो मखदूम साहब ये सुन्नी इत्तेहाद already थी.
the Sunni Ittihad Council existed as a political party.
Outside the parliament.
Yes, at that time, everyone was outside the parliament because election had not taken place. But
Sorry, मखदूम साहब ये जरा हमें मुझे particular I'm sorry मुझे इसके जरा चाहिए knowledge कुछ कि ऑलरेडी एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो इलेक्शन जीत के अंदर जाएगी तो ये इंडिपेंडेंट के पास चॉइस होगी कि दे में सेलेक्ट चूज वन ऑफ द पॉलिटिकल पार्टी ऑफ देयर चॉइस.
your ladyship.
तो वो ऑलरेडी क्या सुन्नी इत्तेहाद अंदर थी किसी भी कैपेसिटी में?
No,
नहीं थी.
the facts before this honorable court were that the Sunni Ittihad,
थी नहीं तो किस तरह ज्वाइन?
these facts before this court were, and I go with the majority judgment, not in the minority judgments. The facts before the court were that the Sunni Ittihad Council did not contest the general elections on any political seat. Even its chairman, that is the appellant number 2, contested the elections as an independent candidate backed by various political parties, but he contested the elections as an independent candidate. The majority.
मखदूम साहब आप जरा पहले रिव्यू पे आ जाए, ये बातें तो उसके बाद होंगी कि हम आप रिव्यू.
I feel obligated to answer the
I
query.
just wanted to understand the
Yes,
point.
so the point
That's
is,
only for my concern.
yeah, your ladyship, the point is dealt with in the majority judgment as well as in the minority judgment. They
Sir,
say,
I think short brief is required because so many honorable members were not the members of the original bench.
my lord,
So at least for their own conscience
my lord,
and
may I explain?
they need some
यहाँ
facts.
क्वेश्चन वही कर रहे हैं जो ऑलरेडी अपना व्यू पॉइंट बता चुके हैं सब.
Your ladyship, this is dealt with
मैं समझने की.
in the majority judgment. May I explain? These persons joined, these elected returned candidates joined Sunni Ittihad Council. Sunni Ittihad Council was a political party which had not contested the general elections, which had not secured any seat in the general elections. Even its chairman, the appellant number 2, had not contested the general elections on the seat of the Sunni Ittihad Council, and the court therefore unanimously ruled that under Article 51, read with Article 106 of the Constitution, these persons could not have joined the Sunni Ittihad Council, and the Sunni Ittihad Council was not entitled to any reserved seats.
Sorry, sir, थोड़ा सा correction कर दें. The independents were entitled, they can join Sunni Ittihad, but not for the purpose of reserved seats.
Yes. Sir, anyone can join any political party within 3 days.
मखदूम साहब, I'm sorry, I'm to cut you. जो पार्टी ऑलरेडी इलेक्शन जीत के अंदर आई है, क्या उसको ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं, या बाहर जो बैठी है, which has not contested any election, if I contest election in independent capacity, और मैं अंदर आके पार्लियामेंट के अंदर जाके कहूं कि मैं बाहर जो इलेक्शन में नहीं जीत के नहीं आई है, तो मैं उसको ज्वाइन करती हूँ.
All 13 members unanimously hold that they could not have so joined. This is a point dealt with, and Sunni Ittihad Council has not sought a review of that. This is a point dealt with unanimously. All 13 members.
Sorry to say, सबने ये नहीं कहा. मैं थोड़ा सा distinction दे रहा हूँ इसलिए कि my judgment is somewhat different from that. मैंने इस तक कहा जब हम 2 मेंबर थे कि any candidate जो independent है, वो किसी भी पार्टी, political पार्टी जो कि रजिस्टर हो, उसको ज्वाइन कर सकता है. लेकिन जहाँ तक सीट की बात है, ये रिजर्व सीट किसे मिलेंगी, हमने कहा उससे मिलेगी जिन्होंने इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट किए. क्योंकि सुन्नी इत्तेहाद ने इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट नहीं किया था, ये कैंडिडेट शामिल हो सकते हैं उनमें, लेकिन सीट के हकदार नहीं होंगे, रिजर्व सीट के हकदार.
My lord,
और वो पार्टीज जिन्होंने इलेक्शन जीता, बेशक एक सीट जीती हो, तो उसमें अगर आज़ाद उम्मीदवार शामिल हो जाएंगे, तो ऑन द बेसिस ऑफ दैट स्ट्रेंथ, तादाद उसमें शामिल होने के बाद फिर रिजर्व सीट.
that's correct. Maybe I was not clear in my submission. My submission is that all 13 members of this honorable court held that a political party which had not contested the general elections and had not secured a single seat as a result of the general elections will not be entitled to reserved seats simply on the basis that independent candidates have joined it. And on that basis, all 13 members were unanimous in the dismissal of the 2 review petitions, of the 2 appeals filed by the Sunni Ittihad Council. So the submission...
वो बाद में पार्टी जो पार्लियामेंट में पार्लिमानी पार्टी बना सकते हैं,
जी,
लेकिन वो रिजर्व सीट के हकदार नहीं होंगे.
Correct, my lord. My lord, under Article 17, paragraph 2, the fundamental right is to join or form any political party.
मखदूम साहब, अब हमें ये बता दे, वो 13 मेंबर्स ने जो डिसाइड किया, लीव दैट असाइड, हमें इतना बता दे कि मैं जानना चाहती हूँ कि जो पार्टी कोई इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट करके अंदर जाएगी एज अ पॉलिटिकल पार्टी, तो जो इंडिपेंडेंट कंटेस्ट करके आएंगे तो उनके पास फिर चॉइस होगी, जो अंदर पॉलिटिकल पार्टीज मौजूद हैं, जीत कर आई, उनमें से किसी को ज्वाइन कर, ना कि वो जो पॉलिटिकल पार्टी तो है लेकिन उन्होंने इलेक्शन ही नहीं किया, वो अंदर असेंबली में आए नहीं है, तो वो किस तरह उस पार्टी को ज्वाइन करे.
That is correct. That is the correct view of the law, and that is the view of the law which has been enunciated by the 13 members of this honorable court unanimously, that they may join anyone, but they will not be entitled to reserved seats on the basis of such a joinder. That's the submission. Now, sir, in terms on the second part, your ladyship, in terms of the notification having been quashed, which is paragraph 3 on page 191 of the majority judgment's short order, the submission is that a writ of quo warranto could have been issued under Article 199 of the Constitution. And if your lordship and your ships and your ladyship may graciously look at that, under Article 199, paragraph 1, subparagraph B, Roman 2, when issuing a writ of quo warranto, the court is required that requiring a person within the territorial jurisdiction of the court holding or purporting to hold a public office to show under what authority of law he claims to hold that office. That's the writ of quo warranto. So the first requirement is requiring a person within the territorial jurisdiction to show under what capacity he holds that office. So such a notice had to be issued. Secondly, your lordship will see related...
Somehow you are treating it as a writ of quo warranto because the court has not taken up individual offices, but the court has only struck down the notification issued by the Election Commission of Pakistan. So this is not simply sitter, in my view, tentatively that this was a writ of quo warranto.
My lord,
It came here not under Article 184, but it was under Article 185, challenging the judgment of the Peshawar High Court.
absolutely correct, my lord, and that is the submission that there was Peshawar High Court. Even if your lordship takes it as a view that it was a 185 matter, I was only pointing out that had they gone to the Peshawar High Court or come to this honorable court under 185(3), the requirement of 199 have not been met. But even more importantly, we have Article 225 of the Constitution.
Because the order was, ECP was under challenge, not the individual offices.
Yes, my lord. But if the consequence of that is that somebody whose notification has been issued as a returned candidate, that notification is quashed, it cannot be said that that person is not affected. My lord, moving away from the niceties, even if your lordship treats
Many
it...
persons may have been affected. I am just distinguishing the feature between the normal writ and the writ of quo warranto.
My lord, if your lordship treats it, for an example, for an argument, treat it as a writ under 199 as a certiorari, quashment of notification. A person who is directly and materially affected by the quashment of the notification is at least entitled to a hearing before this honorable court and a notice from this honorable court. Thirdly, my lord, the submission is that the Constitution clearly provides under Article 225 that no election can be called in question except through an election petition. Your lordship is well aware of that.
It's Article 225.
225. And the result of the quashment of this notification was that their elections were undone. This, your lordship, will have to another article which is relevant, and I just refer to it over here and move on, is Article 175, paragraph 2 of the Constitution, which says that no court shall have a jurisdiction save as it vested in it by law or the Constitution. Your lordship will find in the majority judgment that none of these three articles find any reference.
How Article 225 attracts in this case?
My lord, because even if although the notification has been struck down, the result of the notification was that a number of persons stood elected to the offices on this reserved seat, and their election was being undone, so the election was being called in question. That election, once the notification is quashed, declaring them as returned candidates, their election is undone. And that is why 225 is relevant. But
Article 225 will come when there is a proper election. This is a reserve seat. You have to submit the nomination for the reserve seat, that your contestants of the reserve seat are there. So the seats may be allocated proportionality के साथ. जो proportional representation system mention है इसके अंदर.
Correct, my lord.
So Article 225 में reserve seat का तो कोई judgment ही नहीं है. There is no judgment of election tribunal for that.
My lord, yes, the nomination papers for reserved seats are filed in the same way
Yes, I
as
understand.
nomination papers for the general seats. They are scrutinized in the same way. Where the nomination papers are rejected or accepted, the challenges to them before the election tribunals are made in the same way. And post-election, if it is found that a candidate has been wrongly elected, a challenge is made before the election tribunal in the same way.
Between the candidates
Between
who allegedly deprive of the seat,
the candidates.
he can or he can challenge.
Yes,
But in
ma'am.
this case, the reserve seat notification has been struck down. So we just want clarity whether Article 225 in that regard is applicable, because what do you mean to say that the notification should have been challenged before the election tribunal? Then there was no case like that.
That is my submission, and I'll deal with it in greater detail. I'm just outlining these at the moment. That is the submission. I'll come to it in greater detail later with your lordship's leave and permission.
And if this was the case, then at very initial stage when five members bench was hearing this case in the Peshawar High Court, they could have non-suited on this technical ground that you have approached the wrong court. You have to approach to the tribunal for that reason.
My lord, their petitions were dismissed. This point was specifically not there, but these petitions were dismissed.
If your arguments are accepted, then the Peshawar High Court had no jurisdiction. Then the petition should have been dismissed instead of deciding it on merits.
My lord, Peshawar High
The
Court,
judgment of the Peshawar High Court will not be in field.
Peshawar High Court dismissed the petition in any
Whether
event.
any this objection was raised by any forum
Your
on the
ladyship,
jurisdiction of the Peshawar High Court.
your ladyship, not in so many words, but this.
Conceded to the jurisdiction of Peshawar High Court.
And the reason why this was not the case before the Peshawar High Court also is that at that time this notification of 13th of May 2024 was not in the field. The notification came in the field during the pendency of the matters before this honorable court, and therefore when this honorable court, so the question to the jurisdiction of the Peshawar High Court would not arise when it came before this honorable court. And now I move on to the main facts of the case. This was not an issue which was considered in the majority judgment one way or the other. Likewise, Article 175, paragraph 2 is only considered in the minority opinion of my lord, the senior member of the bench, and my lord, Mr. Justice Naeem Afghan. It is not considered in the majority judgment at all as to what are the consequences of a correct interpretation of Article 175, 2 of the Constitution. My lord, turning to the judgment itself, insofar as review petition is concerned, I am not going to spend a lot of time to state before your lordship as to what are the parameters or scope of the review jurisdiction. That is well established in a number of judgments of this honorable court, that when there is a departure from material facts without adverting to a provision of law or a departure from such a provision of the Constitution or the construction of the Constitution, not just interpretation, because the majority makes a distinction between interpretation of the Constitution and construction of the Constitution. The Supreme Court says this will be an error apparent on the face of the record and it will be interfered with. My lord, the judgment is Pakistan versus Fecto Belarus, PLD 2002, Supreme Court 208. The relevant page is 216. The relevant paragraph is paragraph 12. It is at tab 1, volume 2 of your lordship's bundle. I am not reading it, I'm just identifying it. My lord, the same view has been expressed in the judgment reported as Justice Qazi Faiz Isa versus President of Pakistan, PLD 2022, Supreme Court 119 at 170B and 171, paragraph 48, page 178, para 2. And my lord, I read from paragraph 48 only a few words. The principle is clear. I need not detain your lordship to open the book. It is in volume 2, tab 6. The relevant portion is highlighted. And the lordships hold that therefore whenever they find that the judgment or order of which review is sought was pronounced or made without adverting to and in contravention of any provision of law or the Constitution, they must correct the error.
Volume 2 आपने दिया है?
Volume 2, yes.
पहले वाले वॉल्यूम्स में इसको
Volume 2, tab 6. Page 48, at page 171, paragraph 48,
वॉल्यूम 2 लिखा हुआ है इसमें.
जी सर, वॉल्यूम 2 लिखा हुआ है, बिल्कुल. टैब 6, पेज 171.
जी.
Your Lordship may see the last 6 lines. Therefore, whenever they find that their judgment or order of which review is sought was pronounced or made without adverting to and in contravention of any provision of law or the Constitution, they must correct the error, considering it their inviolable constitutional obligation and duty, not a favor or concession to the party seeking review.
If the author judge or the majority members consider that still they are correct, then what will happen?
My Lord,
अगर जो जजेस कोई भी जजमेंट अगर किसी ने लिखी हो, ऑथर जज हो, उस जजमेंट की रिव्यू किसी ने सीख की हो,
my Lord.
वो जजेस जिन्होंने एक जज हो या 3 हो या 5 हो या 8 हो, जितने भी, वो स्टिल कहें कि नहीं जनाब हमारी जजमेंट तो बिल्कुल आइन और कानून के मुताबिक है, तो
Sir, if the matter is taken up in review and if the members of the bench come to the view that this judgment is clearly in accordance with the Constitution, then the review petitions have to be dismissed and there is no third review. So that's the settled law. My Lord, the other case which I may refer to is the case of Supreme Court Bar Association versus Federation of Pakistan, PLD 2024, Supreme Court 1199 at 1222. The relevant paragraphs are paragraphs 43 and 44. This is volume 1, tab 3. And my Lord, 3 of the members of the bench, my Lord, the senior member of the bench, my Lord Mrs. Mandu Khail and my Lord Mrs. Naeem Afghan were a party to this decision. In paragraph 43, the principles of review are stated that it must be based on constitutional.
we were not party.
My Lord?
We were not party to the petition.
My Lord, you were a member of the bench.
Members of the bench.
You were a member of the bench in the review jurisdiction. Your Lordship was in dissent in the original case, but in the review, your Lordship was with the majority. The 63A was decided 3-2. Your Lordship.
Majority agreed with me.
Yes, your Lordship was in a minority and in dissent over there, and that judgment, my Lord, is reported as PLD 2023, Supreme Court 42 at 171. Your Lordship's view is there. That is your Lordship's view as a dissenting judge. Your Lordship and my Lord Mr. Justice Mia Khail were in dissent. Your Lordship in the review jurisdiction, the one which I just cited, which is at volume 1, tab 3, all your Lordships were of the same view that where an error has been made or where the constitutional provisions have been ignored or matter has been decided on personal likes and dislikes or moralisms, as the word used by your Lordship, then a review will lie. My Lord, insofar as your Lordship's dissenting opinion in the judgment reported as PLD 2023 Supreme Court 42 at pages 171 and 173 is concerned, your Lordship stated the principles which eventually found acceptance in the overturning of the majority judgment in the review case. This judgment also is there in volume 1, tab 6. The review judgment was volume 1, tab 3. This is tab 6. And where your Lordship says that where the provisions of the Constitution are clear, precise, and free from ambiguity, this is paragraph 14, there is no need to interpret it in a manner to change its plenary and normal meaning. My Lord, the last judgment in that regard, which I may cite and move on, is Interquest Informatics Services versus Commissioner of Income Tax, 2025 SCMR 257 at para 3, and para 13. This is, my lord, in volume 2 of your lordship's bundle at tab 9, where your lordships have held that the scope of the review includes judgment passed on an erroneous assumption of material facts or by overlooking a material question of fact or law or an important aspect of the matter which, if noticed and considered earlier, would have direct bearing on the conclusion reached by the court. This is paragraph 3 of the judgment. My lord, this was on the scope of the review jurisdiction. On merits, I focus on the majority judgment because that's the order of the court, that's the order which is under review before this honorable court. If your lordship takes a look at page 139 of the reported judgment, paragraph 13, this is volume 1, tab 1 of your lordship's bundle. If your lordship may see page 139, para 13. The lordship's note, unfortunately, the above legal position regarding the nature of election disputes and the responsibility of courts was not brought to the notice of the bench by the learned counsel for the parties while making their arguments. However, 11 members of the bench, being themselves aware of the legal position, proceeded to inquire into the facts and points of law that were not presented before the court below, that is the Peshawar High Court. So their lordships are saying over here clearly that several legal points or this legal position was not before the Peshawar High Court. This was not argued by the parties, that it was taken note of by the court itself. The submission is that this was never put to the council as stated over here. This was taken note of. The judgment was based on it. This was, my lord, adversarial litigation under Article 185(3). And if a point or a matter was not before the Peshawar High Court, if it was to be taken on record, the parties needed to be put on notice. The court also recognizes, and that's the next point, that several of the parties were not before the court. My lord, your lordship may see in this judgment at page 142, paragraphs 19 and 20.
कौन से टैब में है?
This is tab 1, the same tab, my lord. The majority, tab 1, page 142.
पे कौन सा पढ़ रहे हैं?
142 पे, my lord, your lordship will see just before paragraph 20. As per these contentions and the arguments made during the hearing, PTI claimed the allocation of the disputed reserved seats either to SIC or to itself PTI. This, my lord, great respect, the submission is orally, whatever may have happened. This was not part of the pleadings. And if your lordship may see further, paragraph 20, it may also be pertinent to mention here, in the course of the argument, the learned counsel for SIC also attempted to explain the above circumstances under which the returned candidates, who according to him were PTI candidates, joined SIC. However, some honorable members of the bench reproved him, questioning how he could make conflicting arguments as he was supposed to plead the case of SIC, not of PTI. With respect, we say that both SIC and PTI took the same stance on the peculiar circumstances that led the returned candidates to join SIC. In no way did they make any conflicting assertions. Both emphasized that it is the right of the people who had voted for the returned candidates that their mandate should be reflecting in allocating the disputed seats. So, your lordship will notice from this.
What is your argument on this?
The argument is that PTI was not before this honorable court. PTI had made an intervenor application, which is CMA 5913 of 2024.
5913
of 2024, and the prayer in the intervenor application was that in view of the facts and circumstances explained above, the petitioner's name above may kindly be allowed to assist this august court. Nothing further.
Assist or intervene?
My lord,
been addressed as intervener.
assist as interveners.
As intervener.
In view of the facts and circumstances explained above, the petitioners named above may kindly be allowed to assist this august court.
There was only a request for assistance.
Assistance as intervenors. As intervenors, and
Not for impleading.
not in the prayer. Not in the prayer. There was no application based on HM Saya that they should be allocated a petition number and this should be heard and disposed of accordingly. My lord, this fact is noted in the minority view of my lord, Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi, the current Chief Justice. Your lordship will see it is there at page 214 in paragraph 14.
214.
Paragraph 14.
पढ़ दीजिएगा.
Ji, sir.
Paragraph 14 of the impugned judgment.
Impugned judgment. This is the minority view of my lord, Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi, now the Chief Justice of Pakistan. The heading on page 214 is Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf. PTI, a registered political party, fielded its candidates for seats in the National Assembly and Provincial Assemblies in the general elections, but none was allowed or recognized by ECP to contest elections and for the general or reserved seats as the candidate of PTI. And yet, for reasons not known, the matter has not been agitated by PTI before this court. In fact, at the very end of the proceedings of the present appeals that spanned over a month with 8 long hearings commencing from 3rd June 2024 to 12th June 2024, to be precise on 26 June 2024, an application CMA 5913 of 2024 was filed by PTI and Barrister Gohar Ali Khan for their impleadment as interveners, and that too to assist this court in the present appeals. Interestingly, there was no specific prayer for a definite declaration in favor of PTI for allotment of reserved seats for women and non-Muslims.
अब्दुल साहब एक बात ये बताएं कि ये जो पीटीआई थी या जो इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट्स थे, इन्होंने इलेक्शन कमीशन का नोटिफिकेशन चैलेंज करा इलेक्शन कमीशन के सामने या पेशावर हाई कोर्ट के सामने?
No,
जो इंडिविजुअल इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट्स थे, इन्होंने कहीं चैलेंज करा ये?
No, sir.
कि हम एसआईसी के बैक थे या हम पीटीआई के बैक थे?
Sir, they joined SIC, and this honorable court's majority judgment says that SIC speaks for them. It doesn't say that they are petitioners before the court. They say
before the ECP, the Peshawar High Court, and before this court, there was an admitted position that I think 80 candidates
80
have
eventually
joined the SIC.
Yes, ma'am.
No one disputed this fact.
no.
Not even before this court, even the High Court before, not even the Election Commission.
SIC, my lord, claimed the seats on that basis that these persons had joined SIC and therefore they should be given a proportionate share according to the principle of proportional representation in the reserved seats for non-Muslims and women.
On the strength of those,
On the strength of those
and the
persons.
list started on that basis. That
Yes.
admittedly, the 80 persons have joined the SIC and they claim. But technically or under the constitution, they were not able to show that they are entitled for the...
My lord, the prayer before the Peshawar High
लेकिन
Court.
अब्दुल साहब ये SIC तो इलेक्शन जीत के तो नहीं गई थी on their own political platform.
वो तो established fact है कि ये सिर्फ इंडिपेंडेंट्स ने उनको ज्वाइन किया था, और वो बात मैं अभी आपको दिखा.
इंडिपेंडेंट को कैसे ज्वाइन कर सकते थे? वो भी तो
It was a
इंडिपेंडेंट
political party, and if your ladyship may take a look at the paper book of civil appeal number 333.
इसमें जाने से पहले अगर आप पैराग्राफ 17,
Yes, sir.
18 और 19 मेरे जजमेंट का अगर पढ़ लें
जी सर।
तो उसका जवाब आया है कि हाउ द PTI was given the seat despite the fact that PTI did not ask for it.
Yes, my lord.
वो अगर आप पेज 2 to 9 वॉल्यूम 1 टैब
Yes, my lord. Your lordship is referring to paragraph 17,
17, 18 and 19
sir. And the conclusion is,
पेज 2 to 9
yes, my lord, I have it.
माइक जरा करीब ले लें
Yes, my lord, I have it. Admittedly, if your lordship will see, para 17 concludes there was no restraining order either from ECP on the judgment of this court preventing PTI from nominating candidates and participating in election, but the ROs and the ECP misinterpreted the said judgment, which created an anomaly. Admittedly, a large number of renowned lawyers are members of PTI, and many of them contested election of the year 2024 for the general seats in national and provincial assemblies, filing declaration about their affiliation with PTI. Surprisingly, none of them had challenged the orders of the ROs, declaring them as independent candidates, and their notifications being independent returned candidates issued by the ECP. It is not known as to what had prevented them to do so. The Learned Counsel for the Appellant and the PTI were unable to assign any reason in this behalf. And if your lordship will see the last sentence, they were negligent in failing to challenge the orders of the ROs and the ECP.
बाकी दो PTI कैंडिडेट सलमान अकरम राजा
My lord, yes, that deals with Mr. Raja's application, my lord. Mr. Raja's application was not before this honorable court.
But the answer is at paragraph 19
Yes, my lord. Since right in your lordship says and therefore your lordship divides on that basis between 39 and 41, which is a different view than taken by the majority, which gives all 80 seats to PTI. That's the distinction between your lordship's judgment and the majority's judgment.
एक्चुअली देखें PTI तो सामने नहीं थी शुरू से नहीं थी यानी जब वो आए शायद अगर एप्लीकेशन देखे उस एप्लीकेशन में भी पार्टी बनने के साथ साथ उन्होंने कहा कि हमें नहीं SIC को दी जाए सीट्स वो अलग बात है लेकिन हमने यानी मेजॉरिटी मेंबर्स मेरी और काजी साहब की जजमेंट और जस्टिस याया साहब की जजमेंट इन तीनों ने अपने वो जो भी 187 के इख्तियारात इस्तेमाल करते हुए किसी ने ज्यादा इस्तेमाल किया किसी ने कम इस्तेमाल किया किसी ने दरमियाना इस्तेमाल किया वो इख्तियार इस्तेमाल करते हुए मैंने तो ये कहा कि इट्स अ कंटिन्यूएशन सिंस इट वाज अपील इज ऑलवेज कंटिन्यूएशन ऑफ द ट्रायल चूंकि रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर के सामने वो नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स थे नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स में जो कुछ लिखा जाएगा फॉर्म 33 में वो आए जाएंगे उसमें जिसने भी लिखा है कि एफिलिएशन फ्ला पार्टी से तो उसकी वही लिखी जाएगी जिसने इंडिपेंडेंट लिखा है वो इंडिपेंडेंट लिखा जाएगा तो जब अगर आपको याद हो पहली डेट ऑफ हियरिंग पे हमने वो इनकी जो चेयरमैन है गौर साहब उन्हें कहा था कि आप तमाम कैंडिडेट PTI से शामिल हो कीजिए तमाम कैंडिडेट उन्होंने स्टेटमेंट दी कि तमाम कैंडिडेट PTI से थे और तमाम ने टिकट भी हासिल किया था सर्टिफिकेट जमा किया था उनकी स्टेटमेंट आज भी मौजूद है चूंकि लाइव स्ट्रीमिंग थी हमने इसीलिए वो रिकॉर्ड मंगवाया रिकॉर्ड देखने से पता चला कि वो स्टेटमेंट करेक्ट नहीं थी तमाम ने जमा नहीं किया था इसमें से ऐसे थे कि जो मैंने कैलकुलेट किए मैंने खुद अपने पूरी रात गुजारी देख के सारे नॉमिनेशन पेपर उसमें 14 ऐसे थे कि जिन्होंने सर्टिफिकेट भी जमा किया था टिकट और साथ एफिलिएशन भी थी 24 ऐसे थे कि जिन्होंने सिर्फ एफिलिएशन लिखी थी लेकिन सर्टिफिकेट नहीं था हमने ये प्रिज्यूम किया हो सकता है सर्टिफिकेट मिसप्लेस हुआ हो हमने उनको भी कंसिडर किया तो ऐसी सूरत में मेरे कैलकुलेशन से 39 बने थे ये कोई ऐसे कोई फार्मूला नहीं था कि हम बीच का रास्ता निकालते हमने कहा कि whosoever is entitled जिसने अपने नॉमिनेशन पेपर में जो कुछ लिखा RO और प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर आर बाउंड कि वो फॉर्म 33 में उनको मैंने ये कहा कि उनको इख्तियार हासिल नहीं है कि वो किसी को इंडिपेंडेंट डिक्लेयर करें अब वो चैलेंज करे या ना करे दिस इज राइट ऑफ पीपल हमने इस तरह
No, but I was only pointing out that even your lordship acknowledges that they were not parties before the court. I am aware of the position that your lordship's decision was at variance with the majority in that respect. As far as the current Chief Justice, my Lord Mr. Yahya Afridi's judgment was concerned, he didn't go either by the 80 formula or the 4139 formula. His lordship was of the view that several consequences will have to be considered. For instance, if the candidates were elected on the basis of a ticket of one party and then post-election they have joined another political party, that may entail consequences under Article 63A of the Constitution in terms of defection. So his lordship was inclined to send the matter back to the Election Commission of Pakistan to take a look at all of this in the light of this judgment and then proceed accordingly. But that again is a minority view. But my lord, since your lordship is on the page, your lordship may also graciously take a look at paragraph 21 of your lordship's judgment, where your lordship says, we have perused the nomination papers of 80 candidates who joined SIC, out of whom 41 candidates in clear terms declared themselves as independents while filing their declarations without there being a certificate ticket from a party, including PTI. The date for nomination is given, then the next night. Admittedly, none of the candidates or the leadership of PTI came forward to claim that the candidates who declared themselves as independents were actually the party's nominated candidates. There is nothing on the record to suggest that these 41 candidates were compelled, coerced, pressurized, misinterpreted the law or judgment of this court, or was there any other peculiar circumstances beyond their control to declare their status as independents. In the given circumstances, there is no reason why they should be considered as PTI's nominated candidates. Judges decide cases in accordance with the Constitution and law based upon the material available before them. Any such contention must be supported by the record, which is lacking in this case. So that is my submission.
Maktoum Sahab, what I and my brother Afan Sahab has written that that record was not before us actually. That was not the part of this proceedings. On the basis of admissible evidence, we can pass any order. That was not the record with the list.
That's the view of your lordship and my lord Mr. Justice Naeem Afghan. Even my lord Mr. Justice Mandu Khel says that this record is not before us. Even my lord
Record was called by this court.
Yes.
On the first date of hearing, we called the record, and that's why perused.
But in terms of 41 candidates, your lordship at least says that there's nothing on the record to suggest that those 41 candidates were compelled, coerced, pressurized, didn't happen, and that is why your lordship makes
none of them came forward, despite the fact we were calling them.
Yes, that is the submission. My lord, Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi's judgment is at page 214. I have just read that out. And on parties not being before the court, my lord Mr. Justice Aminuddin Khan, the senior member of this bench, and my lord Mr. Justice Naeem Afghan's judgment is on the record as well. It is, the relevant pages are pages 114 and 115, para 7, pages 118 and 119, paras Roman 1 to 3, para Roman 13, and page 121, paras 11 and 12. And last, my lord, also page 120, para 9. All this honorable court, these two learned judges of this honorable court who are on the bench today as well, hold that the parties were not before this court, my lord, and the record was not before this court. My lord, Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi at page 216, sideline W, goes to say, as far as to say that if we go down this road, this would create a dangerous precedent.
Counsel, what was the fate of this CMA 5913-2024, this intervener's application? Was it allowed, or was it disposed of, or was it dismissed?
My lord, it wasn't dismissed. It wasn't allowed. The majority notices that fact, and the majority says that we heard the intervener. Your lordship is talking of the PTI application or the Kamal Shahzad application? PTI, CMA 5913. This was not
This was the
dismissed
only- this
or
was the only
disposed of, but it was referred to. It was referred to in the
That was
majority
the same
judgment.
application filed by Mr. Gohar.
Yes, this was referred to.
एक ही application है ना?
GG. 5913 was referred to in the majority judgment. I'll take your lordship there in a minute and how the learned bench deals with it. Let me just, if with your lordship's leave, complete this. Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi's judgment is page 216 at sideline W2. The last paragraphs on this page. Finally, while the undeniable power of this court to do complete justice under Article 187 of the Constitution is recognized, exercising this power in the absence of an aggrieved party directly approaching the court could set a dangerous and far-reaching precedent. डील किया है, डील किया है।
हाँ, डील तो वो 141 से शुरू होगा, 141।
इवेंचुअली कहाँ डील किया? So this is my lord.
5913 of 24 जो पीटीआई की जो एप्लीकेशन है इसका रेफरेंस पेज नंबर 141 पे
141 पे बिल्कुल है सर, आप सही फरमा रहे हैं। पैराग्राफ 19 से शुरू होता है और जिक्र आता है कि उन्होंने ये एप्लीकेशन फाइल की है एंड
141
योर लॉर्डशिप विल सी they say faced with the possibility of an adverse decision by the Supreme Court after 4 p.m. that day, they point out number of other things, and then paragraph 19.2, and then if your lordship turns the page 142 is dealt with as well. It is mentioned over here. There is no mention that this application was granted or any number was assigned to them or a petition was there. And they say they have heard.
So वैसे एक ये fact is that Barrister Gohar Ali Khan appeared on the date of leave granting on behalf of Sunni Ittehad Council on 6th of May 24. He was the counsel for Sunni Ittehad Council.
Yes, my lord.
Faisal Siddiqui, and second is Barrister Gohar Ali Khan. Manakam Raja, Samir.
It is so recorded in the order of 6th of May 2024.
में 4 क्वेश्चन ऑफ लॉ फ्रेम किए गए थे, पेज नंबर 143 142 पे वो रिप्रोड्यूस करे गए
जी सर,
मेन जजमेंट में।
जी सर, बिल्कुल।
पेज नंबर पैरा नंबर 21।
They are, your lordship is right.
What is the consequences of declaring a political party ineligible to obtain an election symbol? Then can a candidate nominated by a political party is eligible to obtain an election symbol? इसके बाद ये 3 or 4 important हैं इसमें, इसके जो questions हैं।
My lord, I turn to these in a moment to point out to your lordship. If your lordship may see page 190, paragraph 117 of the judgment. The first 3 lines first, my lord, para 117. Lastly, we want to say a few words to clarify. The heading is PTI is before the court. Lastly, we want to say a few words to clarify that PTI, which has been granted relief in the present case, is before us with an application for its impleadment as a party to the case. If your lordship will then see towards the middle of the paragraph, after having discussed this, the honorable majority finds that the procedural formality of first accepting PTI's application and then granting it the relief does not carry much weight, where the court's concern is the protection of the right of vote of the people, the electorate guaranteed under Article 17(2) and 19 of the Constitution, more than the right of any political party, whether it be SIC or PTI or any other party. Then, my lord, the last 5 lines, while doing complete justice in the exercise exercise of its general power under Article 187 of the Constitution, this court is not handicapped by any technicality or rule of practice or procedure, nor is the exercise of this power by the court dependent on an application by a party. So that's the finding on PTI's application. My Lord, turning to the questions identified by Your
Now,
Lordship.
the third line of para 117,
My Lord.
which says that before us with an application for its impleadment as a party.
Yes, my Lord.
Is it correct? Is this observation correct?
My Lord,
It was an intervener's application. That application was just there, filed by PTI, just so as to assist the court.
My Lord, I bowed.
In terms of Order 1, Rule 10 of CPC, there are two categories of parties: a necessary party or a proper party. And both these terms, they have different meanings.
Yes, my Lord.
But this intervener's application, you'll have to satisfy us or them at the relevant time what this term intervener means.
My Lord, this is what Your Lordship is.
And under the law, if a party is not to the list, can relief be given to it?
That is the submission which I am making, my Lord. And Your Lordship will recall just a short while ago I had read out the prayer, that the prayer was, and which has been reproduced by my Lord the Chief Justice, Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi, who was a member of the bench at that time, where he says that this is not an application for impleadment.
Yes, this is not an application. On the face of it, it's not an application.
And he says that this is an application.
I totally agree with him.
Yet the petitioner's name above may kindly be allowed to assist this honorable court, August court, as intervenors. They don't say that they should be impleaded as an appellant or as a respondent and that they are entitled to relief. They don't.
That means the term impleadment in para number 117, the third line of para, that is the record.
That is the submission that these are matters which are extraneous to the record and that there was no such application on the record of this honorable court, and that is why the Honorable Chief Justice, then Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi, the current Chief Justice, held the view that there is no such application, and that is what the minority judgment of my Lord Mr. Justice Aminuddin Ahmed and my Lord Justice Mr. Naeem Afghan says that this is a party which is not before us. My Lord,
Basically, the conduct of proceedings of the election authorities say that returning officer or the presiding officer was under scrutiny before us.
sir, that's correct.
The proceedings जो उन्होंने कार्रवाई की थी, हमने तो ये देखना था कि वो जो इनिशियल प्रोसीडिंग्स है कि उन्होंने लिस्ट बनानी है कितने लोग किस पार्टी से हैं, उस कैलकुलेशन पर वो प्रेसिडिंग ऑफिसर का तो कोई इख्तियार ही नहीं है कि किसी को चेंज कर दे. जो कुछ उसने अपने नॉमिनेशन पेपर में लिखा उसके मुताबिक, टॉकिंग फॉर माई सेल्फ, मैंने ये महसूस किया कि the presiding officer and the returning officer fails to perform their duty in accordance with the constitution and the law. So continuation of appeal को trial को समझते हुए
My Lord,
उसमें गए irrespective of the fact that anybody was party or not, whether the election commission conducted its duty in accordance with law or not, this was whether the Supreme Court shut its eye on.
my Lord, my submission is, as your Lordship notices in your Lordship's own judgment, that these candidates could have come to the court, PTI could have come to the court, neither of them came to the court. Your Lordship concludes, not my words, that they were negligent in this respect. Those were your Lordship's words, and your Lordship says that at best from the record what your Lordship could find was a 41-39 division. So there your Lordship parts ways with the majority and says that insofar as part of it is concerned, there is no record at all. Even the record as examined in this court by your Lordship, even if it could be regarded as evidence, could take your Lordship only this far and no further.
आगे भी हमने लिखा था, however हमने कहा था कि since they are representing the people, therefore the people cannot be disfranchised. इसलिए ये जिम्मेदारी उनकी थी. Suppose एक presiding officer या returning officer अपनी जिम्मेदारी अदा करते हुए वो किसी को डिसफ्रेंचाइज कर सकते, इसलिए कि मेरे सामने कोई नहीं आया. क्या उसकी जिम्मेदारी ये नहीं थी कि जो रिकॉर्ड के मुताबिक और जो कानून कहते हैं चलें उसके मुताबिक फॉर्म 33 तैयार करें, जैसे भी हो उसके मुताबिक चल, कोई हो सामने कोई ना हो। तो हमने तो उससे नॉलेज।
My Lord, I just go back to paragraph 18 of your Lordship's judgment, may your Lordships note that. My Lord, then the majority proceeded on that basis, not your Lordship, my Lord, Mrs. Mandufel, but the majority proceeded on the basis that election disputes are not between candidates, and that is a finding on page 135, paragraphs 8 and 9, and the entire constituency is affected. That is the finding on page 135 and page 137, and therefore they said that the court could take notice and move on. And
this is a note of Justice Qazi Faiza, and my note is at page.
My Lord, I was referring to page 135 and 137 of the majority judgment. Majority judgment, page 135, paragraphs 8 and 9, where the Lordship says that this dispute cannot be treated as similar to other civil disputes. And paragraph 9, that analogizing an election petition to a civil suit is rejected in paragraph 9, page 135. And the reliance, my Lord, besides referring to Indian judgments, all the Indian judgments arose out of election appeals. Then there are two judgments referred to on page 137. They are the judgments from the Lahore High Court. They are division bench judgments. These judgments arose out of the orders of election tribunals in local bodies cases. And the court in one case interfered and in the other did not with the decision of the election tribunal, but in neither case was this a 199 matter arising straight before the court. It had gone through the process of an election dispute raised by a contesting candidate. How could these two cases be used as a basis then to proceed and say that election disputes are not disputes between the parties at all, and they are disputes raised by the constituency as such? And then their Lordship say at page 138, paragraph 11, and your Lordship will recall, I don't need to remind your Lordship that this is this was not a 184(3) case. The Lordship says that since election cases are a species of collective or public interest litigation, the proceedings therefore are inquisitorial in nature. Instead of adversarial, they take the view that these are inquisitorial in nature. My Lord, except for those two Lahore High Court judgments, no judgment is cited from our jurisprudence to this effect under 199 on 185(3). And the Lahore High Court judgments, as I said, arose out of election disputes before election tribunals held in the matter of local bodies.
185(3) में कोई लिमिट है सुप्रीम कोर्ट के jurisdiction कि आप इस हद तक जा सकते हैं, इससे आगे नहीं जा सकते?
My Lord, I would say that the essential distinction between 184(3) and 185(3) is that in 185(3) the matter reaches your Lordship through an order passed by the Honorable High Court in constitutional matters under Article 199 of the Constitution. The limits of Article 199 will define the limits of your Lordship's jurisdiction under Article 185(3) because your Lordships are exercising appellate power, not an original power under Article 185(3). That's the...
आप क्या कहते हैं 26th Constitution Amendment 191A Clause 3? Any matter decided by High Court which involves constitutional provisions, that can be looked into by the Constitutional Court while exercising Article 184(3).
My Lord, 185(3) में आएगा ना वो?
लेकिन इख्तियारात तो वही होंगे ना 184(3).
My Lord, 184(3) is your Lordship doesn't have to look at, for instance, that the application must be by an aggrieved party. Your Lordship doesn't have So the concept of standing is not applied in that rigor. Your Lordship doesn't have to always look at whether there is an adequate alternative remedy or not. That bar is not applied either. So not bar or that process for regulating the jurisdictions. So my lord, as a civil dispute, now there are a very large number of judgments and I have to put them in the tab. I don't cite them, but may I just
बेसिकली आपने 187 बताना है कि 187
Sir, 187 पे आ
हमारे इख्तियारात कितने हैं, हम कहाँ तक जा
वहीं पे आ
सकते हैं?
जाते हैं।
वो असल बात तो ये है।
Just let me say one sentence, then I turn to 187. In terms of election disputes, your lordships have consistently held that they are to be treated as civil disputes where the burden of proof is on the person challenging an election, and your lordships have gone to the extent that where the election petition was not verified in terms of the requirement of the election law and the CPC, and it did not contain a precise statement of the material facts on which the petitioner relies, your lordships have dismissed those petitions. Your lordship has done that.
ट्राइब्यूनल की बात कर रहे हैं, यहाँ पे ट्राइब्यूनल की बात नहीं है, यहाँ पे इलेक्शन कमीशन से बात है।
मैं इलेक्शन की बात करूं, इलेक्शन डिस्प्यूट की बात करूं। आपने मोसेस जज साहिबान ने इलेक्शन डिस्प्यूट्स को किस तरह ट्रीट किया है? योर लॉर्डशिप्स हैव ट्रीटेड देम ऑलवेज एज सिविल डिस्प्यूट्स। नाउ माय लॉर्ड, before I turn to 185, do I have your leave, my lord, Mrs. Mandukhel, to point out one other thing? Your lordship is at one with all the other minority judges. The majority, when it went to part of the candidates, laid down a procedure. And they said that these candidates were being given 15 days time to join a political party, and then that party could submit that certificate. That
या मखदूम साहब, यहाँ पे मुझे जरा अंडरस्टैंड करने में प्रॉब्लम बन रहा है
जी,
क्योंकि मैंने देखा नहीं है प्रॉपर्ली इसको। कौन सी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी जो पार्लियामेंट के अंदर मौजूद है या बाहर है?
no, the majority judgment was
जजमेंट नहीं, लॉ की बात बताएं।
जी,
लॉ की बात बताएं।
law में तो only a political party which is in parliament, and all 13 members say that. All 13
लेकिन ये सुन्नी इत्तेहाद जो है वो उनके I don't know how many members they have in the assembly. Probably there is one.
They did not have.
हामिद रजा।
They did not have.
I know कि वो इंडिपेंडेंट लड़े थे और वो उनका फॉर्म देखे तो उसमें भी उन्होंने सुन्नी इत्तेहाद का क्लियर जिक्र नहीं किया।
That is
वो
why.
किस पार्टी से वो नजरियाती कभी बता रहे हैं, कभी पीटीआई के बता रहे हैं।
That is why the 13 members unanimously take the view that the SIC petition could not be granted because none of these candidates on reserved seats could be allocated to them.
On what ground these seats were allocated to PTI? Because there was no application for the impleement.
That is the submission. Insofar as SIC is concerned, I may not take your ladyship to the minority judgment, but may I take your ladyship to the majority judgment on page 171.
171. पैरा जरा हमें बता।
Para 74.
74. The later part of the provisory.
Yes, your ladyship, the last 7 lines, it thus inevitably follows that for the purposes of paragraph D of article 51(6) and within the scope of the proviso, the independent returned candidates or candidates may duly join or be allowed to join only such a political party that has one or more general seats through its nominated candidates in the National Assembly from the province concerned. This is the majority finding. If your ladyship also turns to paragraph 80 on page 173, same since SIC has not contested for and won one or more general seats in the National Assembly from the provinces concerned or from anywhere in the country, it is not such a political party to which any of the independent returned candidates can join for the purposes of paragraph D and E of Article 51, paragraph 6 of the Constitution. Therefore, the act of joining...
Stop here.
Yes.
यहाँ पॉइंट तक पहुंचने से पहले these independent candidates did they join that
They had joined that. That was the...
वो open joining दे चुके थे कि हम we are with
They had,
Sunni Ittihad.
within 3 days of the general election and them being notified, they have joined the Sunni Ittihad Council, and the Sunni Ittihad Council had then gone to the Election Commission of Pakistan to say
allotment of the reserved seats.
that they should be allocated or allowed to be elected as their members from Muslims, non-Muslims and women on the basis of these seats.
And then फिर सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने अपने फैसले में कहा कि नहीं आप वापस आओ. You are a political party और आप...
What the Supreme Court holds in the short order, and the short order is at begins from page 191. And your ladyship will see paragraph 8 at page 192.
That was like a suo motu notice was taken. ऐसा कुछ हुआ.
Almost. 187 is the reliance, and that's why I'll turn to 187. It is further ordered that any of the remaining 41 candidates out of the aforesaid 80 whose particulars are set out in Annex B to this order may within 15 working days of this order file a statement duly signed and notarized stating that he or she contested the general election as a candidate of the political party specified therein. If any such statement is or filed by the Commission shall forthwith, but in any case within 7 days thereafter, give notice to the political party concerned to file within 15 working days a confirmation that the candidate contested the general election as its candidate. If such, 3 lines later, if such a statement is filed and is confirmed by the political party concerned, then the seat secured by such candidate shall be forthwith deemed to be a seat secured by that political party for the purposes of paragraph 5 above in relation to Article 51 provisions. The Commission shall forthwith issue and post on its website a list of the returned candidates, now MNAs and seats to which this para applies within 7 days. So this is what happened. So this was allocation done to PTI. Now, your Lordship, my Lord, Mr. Justice Mandukhail, at page 223, paragraph 5, your Lordship holds that these timelines provided in the Constitution are like conditions precedent. The senior member of the bench and my Lord, Mr. Naeem Afghan, also take the view that we cannot rewrite the Constitution in this manner. Mr. Justice Yahya Afridi, now Chief Justice, on pages 208 and 210 and at 212, says that these are condition precedent, which condition precedents must be followed. Now, the timelines so provided by the majority judgment are completely at variance and away from the Constitution, and that is why my Lord, your Lordship, Mr. Justice Mandukhail also holds that these timelines cannot be deviated from. The majority takes the view, and that turns me to your Lordship's observation, that since they are exercising inquisitorial authority under Article 187 of the Constitution, and your Lordship will find that Article 187 is referred to almost in 10 places. I'll give a list by the majority, and on that basis, invoking Article 187 and their power to do complete justice, and invoking the doctrine of constitutional fidelity, their Lordships quash the notifications, allocate these seats to the 80, on the basis of these 80 members, and change the timelines provided in the Constitution itself, which clearly stated what was the period allowed over there. My Lord, when your lordship turns to Article 187, my submission is that the jurisdiction which this court derives in view of Article 175, sub-article 2 of the Constitution, the jurisdiction of the court is provided for under Article 184, 185, 186, which is the advisory jurisdiction, 186A now, the jurisdiction to transfer cases, and 188, the review jurisdiction. These are the jurisdictional provisions of this Honorable Court, where the jurisdiction is vested in this Honorable Court to decide or determine a list. 184, 185, 186 and 186A and 188. In 187, if your lordship takes a look, that is not a jurisdictional provision. 187 is a procedural provision which enables this Honorable Court to do complete justice in a list pending before it. Your lordship will see the language. Supreme Court shall have power to issue such directions, orders or decrees as may be necessary for doing complete justice in any case or matter pending before it. So the case or matter has to come to this Honorable Court under Articles 184 to 186A or 188 of the review jurisdiction, or now 191A of the Constitution.
इसमें वो ऐसी बात नहीं है कि जैसे CPC में है, in respect of same subject matter between same parties. The same parties is not mentioned in it.
That's
In
true.
respect of subject matter or a list pending before.
My lord, one of the principles of adversarial jurisdiction as opposed to inquisitorial jurisdiction under 184(3) is that for 185 your lordships need to have a case and a controversy before it. Quite often your lordship sends the case back to the High Court or to a particular body saying, this issue has not been determined. We are sitting over here in an appellate jurisdiction. We would like to be educated by the findings of the High Court in that respect, and the High Court may therefore decide this matter, and then the matter should come to us. So that's the line which is drawn between 184(3) and 185, and 187 allows your lordship at times to overcome procedural technicalities and difficulties and decide a matter under 187. It does not, this is the Supreme Court, it can do whatever it wants, but may I say that it does not confer jurisdiction on this Honorable Court to decide the dispute of a party which is not before it, either for or against. In a dispute which is pending, at times it can mold the relief and give more to one of the contesting parties. That power is there. Both parties are before this Honorable Court. This Honorable Court can mold the relief. There may be situations where one party is entitled to a little more than is strictly there, and that can be given. But one of the requirements has to be that the requirements of 185 or 186 or 186A or 191 or 188 of the Constitution must be satisfied. 187 is not a jurisdictional provision. I cannot file a petition under 187 before this court. 187 is a provision which allows this court to decide a dispute completely. It is not a jurisdiction to decide a dispute which is not before the party, grant relief against someone who is not before this court, grant relief to someone who is not before this court.
यहाँ पे दो अल्फाज इस्तेमाल हुए, case or matter pending. What is the difference between case and matter?
My lord,
दो अल्फाज इस्तेमाल हुए.
the matter case comes, your lordship's clear. Matter must be a matter pending before the word used, it's qualified by the word pending. the subject matter of the controversy, your lordship may say subject matter of the controversy may be before your lordship. But when deciding under 187, if your lordship tomorrow is hearing an appeal between a landlord and a tenant under 185(3), can your lordship in that matter under 187 grant the relief to a third party? The question, or can your lordship deny relief or hold that a fourth party would not be entitled to any relief or cannot act in this manner?
The matter between tenant and landlord is an individual matter. That is individual matter. But as far as the matter which involves a public importance, matter of public importance, whether in that the Supreme Court is restricted like a civil court.
My lord,
civil court में तो बात आ जाती, दो पार्टी आती हैं, एक suppose एक property पे dispute है, कोर्ट इस नतीजे पर आती कि न आप मालिक हो न डिफेंडेंट मालिक है, थर्ड पर्सन मालिक है लेकिन कोर्ट दे नहीं सकती.
My lord,
this is limited jurisdiction of civil court. 187 यहाँ पे आके चूंकि हम I'm relying on 187 इसलिए मैं 187.
My lord.
Supreme Court has vast jurisdiction, जो हमने कहा, इसी यही बात जस्टिस या अफरीदी साहब ने कही है कि exceptional circumstances में ये इस्तेमाल किया जा सकता है.
Yahya Afridi Saab says, my lord, that when the parties are not before this court, relying on 187 will create a dangerous precedent.
आगे चल के उससे how work कीजिए है पेज आप 216 पे.
If your lordship will see.
216.
216. Yes, if your lordship will see 216. Finally, while the undeniable power of this court to do complete justice under 187 of the Constitution is recognized, exercising this power in the absence of an aggrieved party directly approaching the court could set a dangerous and far-reaching precedent.
आगे भी पढ़े.
Ji sir. Such a course risks undermining the principles of due process and judicial restraint, potentially leading to an overreach of judicial authority. The exercise of this power must therefore be reserved for exceptional circumstances where there is a clear and compelling need to intervene to bolster the rights of the aggrieved petitioner. My lord, and prevent a miscarriage of justice. If your lordship will see the last three lines of this paragraph, thus court must therefore exercise caution to preserve the integrity of judicial proceedings and ensure that justice is administered within the boundaries set by the Constitution.
There is no bar. उनके तरफ से bar नहीं है. उन्होंने कहा कि बड़े एहतियात से, बहुत ही तरीके से और बहुत ही तमाम मामलात को देखते हुए, justice करते हुए.
My lord, since his lordship has not used the word bar, I will not use it. But may I say, he says it's a dangerous precedent with far-reaching and create a far-reaching precedent. His lordship says this will undermine the principles of due process, Article 4, my lord, of the Constitution, and judicial restraint, potentially leading to an overreach of judicial authority. My lord, it reminds me of your lordship's judgment, some of them in dissent, where your lordship says that the power is there to interpret the Constitution, but the power is not there to rewrite the Constitution. And I, for the purpose of rewriting, I specifically draw your lordship's attention to paragraph 8 and the timelines created therein, where your lordship also takes the view that this cannot be done. My lord, this case which has just been handed over discusses in detail some of the judgments of this honorable court. If your lordship may turn, PLD 2014, Supreme Court, page 1. If your lordship may see, page 41, opening line. These powers remain undefined so that the court can cater to any situation and could even mold relief. For instance, if an individual acquires property by defrauding people, the Supreme Court can restore the possession. However, this power should not be misconstrued to mean to pass any order which is against the letter of the law or against specific constitutional provisions. Paragraph 43, it is to be used sparingly with an element of judicial restraint. Paragraph 44, this court granted special additional pension where it found that the pensioner was being discriminated against and observed. It may be stated there that this court, in terms of clause 1 of Article 187 of the Constitution, is competent to issue such directions, but given only in case of parties before it, necessary for doing complete justice in any case. If your lordship may turn to the next page, page 42. While granting a relief, the court can dispose with the technicalities and may mold the relief according to the requirement if the dictates of justice so demand. In this behalf, reference may be made to the case of Zulfiqar Ali Babu. And paragraph 46. In Meher Zulfiqar Ali Babu, this court observed that for passing an order under Article 187 of the Constitution, no independent proceeding before this court is required, and once the court is seized of a list competently, it can pass orders.
ये तो ऐसा इससे हम वो एक पॉइंट क्लियर हो सकता है कि देयर आर द टू पार्टीज आर बिफोर द कोर्ट. एक पॉइंट बन रहा है, एक रिलीफ बन रहा है, लेकिन वो पर्टिकुलरली किसी ने उसको उसके ऊपर नजर नहीं पड़ी या वो मांगा नहीं है, लेकिन वो चीज बन रही है एंड बोथ द पार्टीज आर बिफोर द कोर्ट. तो यहाँ तो एक बिल्कुल इंडिपेंडेंट स्टैंड लेकर उन्होंने एक और पार्टी को जो विच वॉज नॉट बिफोर द कोर्ट, बिफोर द पेशावर हाई कोर्ट, and they were like an intervener before this court just to assist the court. उन्होंने relief ही नहीं मांगा है.
That is the submission, your ladyship. In terms of Article 225, may I draw the attention of your lordships and your ladyship to the case of Election Commission of Pakistan versus Javed Hashmi, PLD 1989, Supreme Court 396. And the relevant portions are at pages 416 and 418 and 422 of the judgment.
यहाँ तो मखदूम साहब झगड़ा जो था वो रिजर्व सीट्स का on the strength of the seats procured था, तो वो रिजर्व सीट तो एक तरफ रह गई तो दूसरी तरफ चल पड़ा था.
That's the submission, my lord. That's the submission. And
उन 80 सीट्स पे भी उनकी क्या कहना चाहिए, न्यू एलोकेशन एंड न्यू एक्सेप्टेंस और ज्वाइनिंग ए पार्टी, वो तो that was even not 0% before.
My lord, the situation over here was that none of those 80 persons were before this honorable court, that what we could have got
on the basis of an admitted fact.
Yes.
The list started that these 80% have joined the SIC, therefore they claimed the reserve seats of women and non-Muslims.
Yes.
And no, even the Election Commission, the Peshawar High Court and this court has not granted them the seats on the ground that they are not entitled.
Yes.
So बाकी है वो तो
सब ये इनके पास सैम्बल नहीं था, वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट के फैसले के मुताबिक वो नहीं कंटेस्ट कर सकते थे ऑन दैट पर्टिकुलर सैम्बल. फिर उसके बाद उस पॉलिटिकल पार्टी की एग्जिस्टेंस खत्म हो जाएगी क्या?
No, your ladyship.
They were issuing certificates. तो इसका मतलब है पार्टी तो मौजूद थी. They were issuing certificates to their candidates. लेकिन उनके पास सैम्बल नहीं था, तो इसकी क्या लीगल पोजीशन होगी?
Your ladyship, they then contested the elections as independent candidates, and the facts are that after the election they joined.
Some of them wrote PTI as their political party.
That is, my lord, Mr. Justice Mandu Khel's judgment, where his lordship draws a line of distinction. As far as the majority judgment, which is the judgment under review before your lordship, all 80 candidates were allowed to join PTI after the time limits. 41 candidates were allowed to join PTI after the time limits specified in the Constitution, and the allocation of seats was made entirely to PTI. So the submission over here was that PTI was not a petitioner in any of the three forums, including the Supreme
नहीं,
Court.
मैं उस point of view से नहीं पूछ रही. My point of view is when they were not allowed to contest election on their own symbol, तो वो political party तो that still exist अभी तक है, वो मौजूद है. अभी तो शायद उन्होंने election वगैरह भी कर लिया हो. उस वक्त वो political party थी कि नहीं, खत्म हो गई थी.
Your Ladyship,
सिंबल का एक पॉलिटिकल पार्टी में क्या पोजीशन होती है?
Your Ladyship, the political party existed, but it had not been granted a symbol in view of the judgment of this honorable court in the symbols case, to which your Ladyship was a party.
सिंबल के ऊपर इलेक्शन कॉन्टेस्ट नहीं कर सकते थे सिर्फ.
But
ये हर्डल उनके रास्ते में आ रहा था.
जी, and they after they were elected as independents, as your Ladyship points out, since the political party existed, they could have joined that political party. All of them could have joined PTI, but they did not. They joined SIC, and when they joined SIC came to court that the seats be allotted to it.
SIC तो खुद ही नहीं थी उधर.
जी, यही सबमिशन है.
एक इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट और के दूसरे इंडिपेंडेंट कैंडिडेट को मेंबर को ज्वाइन कर रही थी.
That is the submission, that they could have joined PTI but they did not. They could have come to the court but they did not. PTI could have come to the court but it did not. And in view of this, allocating them the reserved seats on the basis of the present proceedings where they were not a petitioner, and allowing these candidates, or at least a large part of them, to join a political party within the time, outside the timelines provided in the Constitution, is clearly contrary to the provisions of the Constitution. Those timelines had to be adhered to, and as my Lord Mrs. Mandu Khail and my Lord Justice Yahya Afridi and my Lord Mrs. Aminuddin Ahmad and Naeem Afghan held, these were sacrosanct timelines provided in the Constitution.
मुख्तार साहब, जहाँ तक ये सिंबल्स की बात है, इन माय जजमेंट पैराग्राफ 15 and 16 मैंने इसको डील किया कि ये सिंबल इज ओनली टू रिकॉग्नाइज द कैंडिडेट. वो किसी सूरत किसी पार्टी को डिप्राइव नहीं करता अगर किसी को सिंबल ना मिले. पार्टी एक ही सूरत में खत्म हो सकती है कि वो रेफरेंस फाइल हो और सुप्रीम कोर्ट डिक्लेयर कर दे. इसके अलावा पार्टी खत्म हो ही नहीं सकती अनलेस कि वो खुद अपने आप को खत्म कर दे. तो पार्टी का वजूद तो है किसी भी पार्टी के.
I'm not disputing that.
So the candidate, the party can issue. देखिए असल में होता है कि हम थोड़ा सा, मैंने जो समझा, अपनी बात कर रहा हूँ, हम ये समझते रहे कि शायद पार्टी इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट करती है. पार्टी नहीं कंटेस्ट करती, कैंडिडेट कंटेस्ट करते हैं ऑन द सिंबल ऑफ पार्टी, ऑन द सर्टिफिकेट ऑफ पार्टी. अब अगर पार्टी का सिंबल ना हो तो वो सिंपली सर्टिफिकेट जारी कर सकता है टू असिस्ट दैट कैंडिडेट, और वो उस पार्टी का कैंडिडेट तस्वुर होता है. तो सिंबल बेसिकली फॉर द फैसिलिटेशन ऑफ द जनरल पब्लिक होता है. इट इज नॉट टू डिसफ्रेंचाइज द पार्टी.
My Lord,
मैंने 15 और 16 में
जी सर, आपने भी किया है.
इस हवाले से अगर आप देखिए पीटीआई के अब भी कोई 4, 5, 6 कैंडिडेट जो डायरेक्टली पीटीआई के कैंडिडेट थे, उन्होंने उस हैसियत से कंटेस्ट किए. दे डिड नॉट जॉइन द SIC, और पहले से उन्होंने रिजर्व सीट के लिए अप्लाई भी किया. नॉमिनेशन पेपर्स भी आई है. जो खातून ने एप्लीकेशन की कि मुझे इजाज़त दी जाए कि मैं SIC, वो उनके इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग, उन्होंने ये पहले नॉमिनेशन पेपर पीटीआई की तरफ से जमा किए थे ऑन रिजर्व सीट. फिर वो रिक्वेस्ट करी थी कि मुझे स्विच ओवर किया जाए कि मैं SIC की तरफ से हूँ. तो सवाल ये है कि पार्टी तो बैन नहीं थी, पार्टी ने इलेक्शन कंटेस्ट किया. 5-6 कैंडिडेट पहले से उस पार्टी टिकट पे आए, बाकी 80 वहाँ चले गए. तो ये तो खैर ये खुद अपने आप से पूछे कि वहाँ जाने की बजाय इधर क्यों ज्वाइन नहीं किया. सपोज अगर वो सारे मान लें कि इंडिपेंडेंट थे, दे कुड हैव इजीली जॉइंड दिस पार्टी, तो ये मसला ही ना होता. और दूसरी बात ये कि वो जो साहब थे, जो पार्टी सिख के सरबराह थे, वो समझ में नहीं आई कि वो इंडिपेंडेंट क्यों खड़े हुए. अगर वो एक अकेले भी अपनी पार्टी से खड़े होते, जीत जाते, तो आज मसला ना.
Your Lordship identifies Your Lordship identifies that on page 229 in paragraph 18 of Your Lordship's minority view. Your Lordship has identified that. My Lord, the point...
एक क्वेश्चन जो माय लर्नर ब्रदर कि वो जो पीटीआई के डायरेक्ट कैंडिडेट्स हैं मसलन गौहर साहब थे या बाकी उन्होंने क्लेम की है कोई सीट वहाँ इलेक्शन कमीशन में इन सीट्स में से?
Not that I know of, my Lord. Not that I know of.
इसमें क्लेम तो नहीं करना होता ना. अगर एक पार्टी अपने रिजर्व सीट की लिस्ट बमाए नॉमिनेशन पेपर सबमिट कर दे, मेरा व्यू ये था कि दिस इज द ऑटोमेटिक जॉब ऑफ द रिटर्निंग ऑफिसर एंड प्रिजाइडिंग ऑफिसर कि वो बगैर किसी से पूछे देखे किसके कितने सीट्स बन रहे, कितने कैंडिडेट्स कामयाब हुए, उनकी लिस्ट बनाए, उस लिस्ट के मुताबिक तकसीम कर दे. दैट्स ऑल.
My Lord, yes, but my Lord, Your Lordship and my Lord Mrs. Naeem Afghan note that in your judgment, in your opinion as well, that there are a number of these candidates who had contested as independents and had never joined SIC, which included, according to Your Lordship's opinion, Mr. Gohar Khan, who was the head of the party. Now, in terms of symbols, my Lord, Your Lordship's view and what caused the problem, and as Your Lordship said, that had they joined PTI, this issue may not have arisen, is noted in Your Lordship's opinion on paragraph 18 on page 229. My Lord, the doctrine invoked for doing all this, besides Article 187 of the Constitution, was the doctrine referred to as the doctrine of constitutional fidelity. That now, fidelity is a bit of an emotionally charged word. Now, fidelity means faithfulness. And this is invoked, my Lord, on pages 134 in paragraph 6, pages 182 and 83 in paragraphs 99 and 100, and page 190 in paragraph 117. My Lord, in US, where this doctrine originated, it is at times used by the conservatives as an argument against the doctrine of the living constitution. Living constitution means interpreted according to the needs and changing circumstances of the time. And some of those who take the view that the original intent should be followed take the view that there must be constitutional fidelity. Fidelity not to the personal philosophy of a particular judge or a group of judges, but fidelity to the text of the Constitution. Fidelity to the words used in the Constitution. And our submission over here is that on the basis of this doctrine, one cannot go beyond the text of the Constitution, and the text of the Constitution is very, very clear in that regard. This Honorable Court itself, in a 7-member bench case, in that of Hamza Rashid, which is, my Lord, Volume 3, Tab 12. Volume 3, Tab 12. Made a distinction, and I will draw your lordships to that. This is a judgment reported as PLD 2024, Supreme Court 1028. This is tab 12 of volume number 3. My Lord, 4 of the members of this bench, 3 of your lordships and her ladyship was a member of that bench as well. The learned senior member, Mr. Justice Jamal Khan Mandukhail, my Lord, Mr. Justice Muhammad Ali Mazhar, my Lord, her ladyship, Mrs. Musarrat Hilali.
I'm not Mrs. Sorry,
Miss. My apologies, your ladyship, Miss Musarrat Hilali, Miss Justice Musarrat Hilali. All right. My apologies.
अपना रिकॉर्ड्स दुरुस्त कर ले.
Thank you, thank you. 1062, Your Ladyship. The interpretation, Roman paragraph
अरे
3.
मखदूम साहब, मेरे वालिद का नाम साथ में लिखा है तो इसलिए मैं बहुत माइंड करती हूँ. नेक्स्ट इज माय फादर्स नेम, सो इसलिए मैं
No, not at all.
सॉरी होता है
No,
थोड़ा हार्श.
no, your ladyship doesn't need to say sorry. It is I who should have been better informed, and I need to apologize. Page 1062, Roman paragraph 3. The interpretation of Article 62(1)(f) of the Constitution in imposing a lifetime disqualification upon a person through an implied declaration of a court of civil jurisdiction while adjudicating upon civil rights and obligations of the parties is beyond the scope of the said article and amounts to reading into the Constitution. Paragraph Roman 6, the view taken in Samiullah Baloch versus Abdul Karim Sherwani, treating the declaration made by a court of civil jurisdiction regarding breach of certain civil rights and obligations as a declaration mentioned in Article 62(1) of the 1F of the Constitution, and making such declaration to have a lifelong disqualifying effect, amounts to reading into the Constitution and is therefore overruled. If Your Ladyship and Your Lordships may also turn to page 1074. 1074, sideline G. It is, however, important to underline that there is a marked difference between progressive interpretation and amendment of the Constitution. By way of progressive interpretation, as observed in MQM, a particular provision, a term, or a word of the Constitution is interpreted dynamically and purposively with a view to achieve the constitutional intent. Courts cannot, under the disguise of progressive interpretation, amend the Constitution and read that into it which is not enshrined in any provision of the Constitution. Then the last 5 lines of this paragraph: any interpretation that does not have any textual mooring or is not entrenched in or flows from any constitutional provision passes for a constitutional amendment by unwarranted reading into the Constitution and is beyond the permissible scope of the judicial act of interpreting the Constitution. And if you may graciously turn the page to paragraph 12, page 1075. Any court, including this court, cannot by a judicial order confer jurisdiction on itself or any other court, tribunal, or authority. The power to confer jurisdiction is legislative in character. Only the legislature possesses it. No court can create or enlarge its own jurisdiction or any other court's jurisdiction, nor any court has any inherent or plenary jurisdiction because of the constitutional command in Article 175, paragraph 2 of the Constitution. The courts in Pakistan do not possess any inherent jurisdiction on the basis of some principles of common law, equity, or good conscience, and only have that jurisdiction which is conferred on them by the Constitution, by or under any law. This is a concurring opinion.
Paragraph 3 of our dissenting, उसमें भी आ जाए, page 226 पे, paragraph 13. यहाँ पे भी इन्होंने रिक्वेस्ट की थी, केस लॉ रेफर किया था
जी सर,
रिक्वेस्ट प्रोग्रेसिव और पर्पसिव इंटरप्रिटेशन की थी.
The Lordship takes the view in the last 4 lines, the word referred in the circumstances is of no assistance.
माइक ले लेते.
Sorry. The word referred, the referred judgment in the circumstances is of no assistance.
ऊपर से पैराग्राफ 13 से पढ़.
All right, Madam, I can. As far as the judgment relied upon by the Learned Counsel for the Appellant, PLD 2024, Supreme Court 698, with regard to purposive and progressive interpretation of the Constitution is concerned, the relevant provision whereof is reproduced as under, in absence of express words or enactment preventing the council from inquiring into the matter upon resignation or retirement of a judge, jurisdiction of the council cannot be abolished, ousted or terminated. Since there is no express provision in the constitution, nor is there any enactment preventing the council from continuing its proceedings of inquiry in a situation where a judge is retired or resigns before conclusion of the inquiry, it is the constitutional obligation of the council to conclude the inquiry initiated against a judge and form an opinion regarding his conduct. In the referred case, Article 209 of the Constitution was under discussion. Your Lordship then discusses it, and the last 4 line.
Had
Had the provision of Article 209 of the Constitution been interpreted progressively or purposely in a manner that upon retirement or resignation of a judge, the inquiry initiated by a constitutional body shall stand terminated, it would have amounted to adding these words into the Constitution, which is beyond the domain of this court. The referred judgment in the circumstances is of no assistance to the appellant. Rather, it strengthens the view that the Constitution has to be interpreted rigidly and to be implemented in its letter and spirit. As has been discussed above, that the appellant does not qualify for reserved seats, therefore we cannot mold the Constitution in a manner to facilitate FSIC. The appeals to such extent failed. My Lord, I may point out.
Next, kal ke liye.
My Lord, I have concluded my submissions. If Your Lordship will allow me to state one sentence, which is that I have only read this judgment, which I read before my Lord Mr. Mandukhel's judgment, PLD 2024, Supreme Court 1028. The opinion that I read from was the concurring judgment of my Lord Mr. Mansoor Ali Shah Sahib. Because he is in the majority, I point out that he himself draws a distinction between interpretation of the Constitution and an amendment or rewriting of the Constitution, and my respectful submission is that over here a review lies because the Constitution has been rewritten.
रिव्यू पे तो अब तक आपने बताया नहीं कि वो रिव्यू जो ग्राउंड्स है रिव्यू के प्रोवाइडेड बाय आर्टिकल 47 रूल 1.
My Lord, I identified those judgments, and I right in the beginning a series of judgments, and I said that the grounds of review are that the parties who were granted relief were not before the court. The parties who had been denied as a consequence of their general election a proportion of the reserved seats were not before the court. The parties in favor of whom the notification of the Election Commission was struck down were not before the court. That these matters were not a matter of record before the Honorable Court. The timelines provided by the majority judgment were beyond the Constitution. And it was on the basis of these submissions, Article 225, Article 175, Paragraph 2, Article 199, 1B2 were not even referred to in the majority judgments. So, passing a judgment which moves away from any of these constitutional provisions and allocates these writs on the basis of a doctrine of constitutional fidelity, which doesn't have moorings either in the Constitution or the jurisprudence of this Honorable Court, was not warranted. Likewise, Article 187 did not give this Honorable Court any jurisdiction in the matter. It allowed this Honorable Court to dispose of a lis in which jurisdiction was validly invoked by molding relief. Those are the grounds of review.
Suppose आपकी review अगर allow होती है, suppose, तो what would be the consequences? क्या होंगे? कौन से prevail करेगी judgment?
My Lord, if the review,
बाकी judgments और भी हैं.
No, my Lord, yes, I say. If the review can be allowed in a number of manners. If the review is completely allowed, then it is the majority judgment which is overturned, which is reversed. So far as the minority views are concerned, there is no review petition against a minority view because the review petition is against the majority judgment of the court. But in the review petition, this Honorable Court may take a different view and say we uphold the review to this extent or to this within these limits as well, and then that would become the judgment of the court.
Any view can be taken. Even I can change my view.
My lord, this is what has been. I do not refer to Chirag Cement because a serious objection was taken, but it is said, yes, your lordship can change your views. It is there in the judgment of my lord Mrs. Mansoor Ali Shah in the Chirag Cement case.
पठान की एक ही जबान होती है.
Yes, but the views can change.
You have completed your...
My lord, that's my submission.
अभी इनके बाद कौन करेगा?
Mr. Makhdoom Ali Khan, the counsel for the review petitioners, has completed her arguments on behalf of the SIC respondent.
SIC or
No other respondents, no other petitioners would argue?
नहीं वो
इन्होंने करना तो
My Lord, on behalf of the Election Commission, I have submitted written formulations with detailed arguments, and those may be taken as my submissions, my Lord.
And my written submissions are also there, my lord, in CMA number 3104, my lord. Taken on record, my lord.
ठीक है.
Lordship, on behalf
ये
of
जरा please note कर लें so that there is no right of rebuttal because they've all given up their right.
Lordship,
आपसे arguments of Makhdoom Ali Khan.
Lordship, on behalf of petitioner Pakistan People's Party, I will submit the written argument synopsis by tomorrow.
रिटन आर्ग्यूमेंट उनको पहले दे देना, फिर वो जवाब भी तो देना है ना उन्होंने. आपको मिल गए सारे रिटन सबमिशन?
वो हमें कुछ नहीं मिला है.
आपको लेना होता है. आपको वहाँ से लेना होता है.
जी सर,
आपको वहाँ से लेना होता है.
नहीं सर, सबमिट करेंगे तो लेंगे ना.
चले आप अपने तो
ECB ने कर दिया है ना.
I'll start tomorrow.
Given them to learned counsel.
I'll start tomorrow and once they give it, क्योंकि ये एक दिन में तो वैसे ही नहीं खत्म होगा.
Mr.
I'll
Faisal
start tomorrow.
Siddiqui stated that
आप आज
he
ले लें
will
वहाँ से
start
जो भी लेना है.
जी,
arguments tomorrow.
No, I
still have to be restated.
Yes.
So your lordships have not heard the facts.
Yes. This will not be this.
हम आपसे सिर्फ कह रहे हैं कि आप ऑफिस
जी जी, इनकी ड्यूटी है जी, ये हमें दे दें.
कल 11:30 फैसल.
जी जी, थैंक यू सर.
My Lord, ECB has not waived its right to rebuttal if need be.
ठीक है, वो तो हमने देखना है, वो उनकी
नहीं, वो तो सब collusion